Hi everyone, welcome to the August garden tour here in New York, so in ZXA. And August today, mid-August, is really less of a tour and more of a before the transition. It has been a really hot summer, drought conditions here in New York, at least here in my area, and a lot of other ones. So a lot of plants that I was expecting fruit from, and I had great fruit from last year. We had a lot of rain last year. Completely nothing this year. So let's start with that. Let's start with melons. Melons are a complete failure. This is pumpkins. This is the best specimen of the pumpkin. This is all it's grown all summer. I had high hopes for this one, but it started flowering, and then all of a sudden the flowers got eaten by something. So even that fizzled quickly. Here is a sugar baby. This is as much as it's grown. I'm actually going to show you another specimen of this. This is also a lot to do with this soil here. I guess it's a lot more compacted. I didn't do enough to work that soil. This is not a volunteer. This was I believe an opal tomato that I had put here to separate from the others because I wanted to save seed, but something keeps eating it. So I have yet to I had started getting tomatoes and then they disappeared. This is a moon and stars, and this is all it's grown all summer. And the other pumpkin, it's trying to flower, but like here would have been flowers, but those have been nibbled off, so no flowers there. That's a lot of it. Over here we have the pineapple, a sucker that I had taken off. This is better soil, better watering that I'm consistent on. So this is a pineapple tomato that seeds that I will be able to save because the likelihood of cross-pollination is pretty low, and the huge mammoth sunflower still growing pretty strong. Alright, so on to the beds that are gonna be transitioning this week if I have the energy for them. This is the leeks will stay. I think I should be harvesting those one by one, but the broccoli, the Calabrese broccoli, are starting to go to the chickens. I am saving a few seeds, so I let this one go to pod, and it looks like I've lost a lot of seeds already. I gotta get on that. This bed still has just recently matured broccoli, so this bed will go to the chickens. And here, this sad bed really got fried. I still have a couple of little onions hanging on that they're still strong. I mean little. And I've got more little ones than that. And chewed up, what is this, kale? Barely growing artichoke. More. The only thing doing well in this drought is the asparagus. They're doing fine. But some more chewed up broccoli. Oh, there's a head I missed. And these haven't headed yet, broccoli. That might yield something now that it's cooling down. And the rhubarb are fine for next year. For some reason the rhubarb down here completely, I don't know what happened. I've had no problems with this last year, and this year, well, obviously it's been too hot and too dry, so I have like 3 and 4, and there should be a few more in here that have just disappeared. They might come back next year, we shall see. But I am going to revamp this area. It's too much in the shade of this giant maple. I think it's a maple. So I'm going to move these out and move them where this cardboard is, which is getting a little more light. So I'm going to be doing that there. I am more hopeful. This is some more compost. I'm more hopeful for the fall peas. It is not suggested to plant shelling peas for the fall. More snow peas and snap peas. But I don't know. We'll see. I know last year the peas did fine until the frost and beyond the frost. But we had a milder fall and into winter, so we'll see. But so far they're already looking really strong. A lot stronger than they did in the spring, that's for sure. And I definitely doubled up on planting. I also put in some more beans. I don't know why I'm doing this, but the first round of beans were really pathetic. This is all they've grown all summer. It's not even a foot off the ground. So the new beans I put in, and these are the yard-long noodle beans. They've shot up and they're growing up just fine. So it's really taught me this year a lot about timing of plants. We've got our tromboncino squashes coming in. There's new ones coming in, still strong. Oops. I like shooting in the afternoon, evening, because, well, it's not as hot, and B, the leaves have bounced back, because these really wilt down when the heat of the sun is on them. The cucumbers are on their way out. Few little ones hanging on, but I'm letting, like that one, I'm letting that go to seed and saving seeds from that. Another big failure for some reason I'm not sure about. I know one was definitely a vine borer damage. It completely decimated the plant. But these are more shaded. Oh, what am I talking about? Acorn squash. I have no acorn squash. Okay, I might have one acorn squash. I don't know if the season's enough to let it ripen, but I have one. I had all these plants and in great soil condition and nothing. So many flowers. And I'll show you the one that just came up. I just saw it today. There it is. I hope it was fully pollinated. That's it. One. And that's what? 1, 2, 5 plants. Well, 6 if you count the one that died, but 6 acorn squash plants. And I got 1 fruit. And the leaves, the plants are healthy. There's nothing wrong with the plants. They're not being attacked. And I have no fruit to show for it. What else we got in here? I know there's a loofah in here, but I don't think... I mean, last year they started fruiting in September and did great, so it might surprise me. But there's a loofah in here. I think it's this one. A loofah plant. There's piddly edamame in there. There's another edamame in here getting shaded out. But anyway, the butternuts are continuing to ripen there. This is beets. We got the carrots. These were planted later, so I won't be seeing anything from these until probably late September. Now this bed, when I came through earlier and watered, I saw that, they ate all the Swiss chard, at least the rainbow Swiss chard. They left I'm not sure what that one is, but it's not the rainbow. Yeah, they didn't eat Malabar spinach, sour gherkins, lots of Mexican sour gherkins. So I discovered that the bigger they are, the more sour they are. So if you pick them when they're more oval, then you'll just get the cucumber flavor. But if you let them get fat, nice and fat, you get more sour. I will be harvesting carrots soon. I think they've been in the ground long enough. But yeah, I have a lot of sour gherkins to pick. I've also started harvesting the celery for drying. So I only have a little system for drying, dehydrating Is that it? Dehydrating, yeah. So I'm only picking like 1 or 2 at a time, cutting them up and putting them through there. And I can also just freeze them, which I have done in the past. So that's the celery. What else is in this bed? Chard, more kale. The marigolds, just dwarf marigolds, are doing beautiful here. Oh, this is the amaranth. I forget which one, but regular amaranth is doing this. All right, what's over here? Oh, the what's it called? Ground cherries are on their way out. So that's it for the ground cherries. I didn't get much this year. A lot of competition with the chipmunks. Even though I put the mesh over it, they were still getting in under and around and eating all the fruit. Here is one of the potato beds that has succumbed to the heat and can probably be harvested soon. I can't even see where the leaves are anymore because they've just sprawled into the weeds that's surrounding the bed. So I have a feeling I probably didn't put enough covering on top, and I'm going to end up with a lot of green potatoes. Over here in this mess, there's some raspberries, some figs that aren't figging this year. Now, the sunchoke, or Jerusalem artichoke, I thought would be flowering by now, but it's not. So maybe next year? I don't know. We'll dig it up later in September and find out what's up. The usual containers just growing their thing. This, I believe, is the black crim that I had separated out. So I'm getting some fruit over here. Same thing there. There's some kale and, what is it? Kale? Yeah, it's mostly kale in here. And then as for the little patch of corn, I believe it's a raccoon. I'm pretty 99% sure it's a raccoon. I haven't seen the raccoon, but it's likely. But first it was an ear, just like, just an ear of corn was taken. And then it just, every so many days, just lawn mowed through the corn. I got 1 ear of corn, and it was so delicious. But that's it. That's all I get. Yeah, this mess is mostly lettuce that I've let go to seed, and there will be so much lettuce here next year. Yeah, some ground cherries that I let self-seed here have suffered from the heat. I didn't get to watering this area as well, and it didn't matter because the chipmunks took every fruit that ever was. Didn't even get a chance to ripen anyway. It looks like I've forgotten to water the cosmos bed, so a lot of these flowers. Ah, look at that, I missed it. But the purple ones I planted finally flowered. So that's a disappointment. I forgot all about this bed. So, I mean, there's still a chance I'll get a few flowers. But next year, I'll definitely pay more attention. Or so I say. Oh. So, there's the house. There's a septic tank over there somewhere. And then, since we hadn't been cutting the grass because it's dead, you can see where the septic lines are, which we didn't know before because we don't have a map or anything. Nobody left us that information. So let me get a different angle here. You can see, so this is the driveway. And if you turn, so it's like there's a septic line there. 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6. There's like 6 or 7 lines. See, so lush, the grass here, so tall. And these, I believe these are hazelnuts. think I looked it up, are doing so well growing because they're on the line, which is not a great idea. So those unfortunately need to be pulled up and replanted. Now see, this one not looking so healthy, and this line doesn't look like it comes all the way. Looks like it stops over there, and there's at least one more line. So I'm hoping we didn't like bust the lines over there, and that's why those are so wonderful looking. So this area, the strawberries, also is getting picked. I'm pretty sure it's voles over here. Pretty sure. So these are going to be replanted anyway. So I'm just waiting for the temperatures to be right and my energy levels to be up, and then I'll get to transplanting the strawberries. Sunflower Alley is kind of, it wasn't a complete failure, but it wasn't the showstopper I was hoping for. I'll try to pull up the varieties that did the best in this drought. So again, this is right on the driveway, so it's intensely hot and not gotten watered much. So just a few of the flowers, and some are still coming in. Plus there was a lot of predatory animals that came in early. This is the biggest head here in this patch. Oh, there it is. This just came up. The one beauty. I wish there was more of this for contrast, but so far this might be one later, but we'll have to see. Yep, so that's sunflowers. And we got a lantana struggling down there. Oh, we were at the beach yesterday, and I saved this to show you. I'd let this sit in the sun too long, but I had picked a few little seaweed that happened to be at the beach where we were at. And there isn't much seaweed there, but I'm going to add this to the compost pile. It smells lovely. And then we got an assortment of shells the kids had to take, and some crab legs. But these little ones, I want to crush these up and give to the chickens, like oyster shells, I guess. So that's a little experiment, little project for me. Alright, speaking of chickens, they're normally in the garage, but wanted to air out the garage, so they're out here now. They're underneath there. They both have a couple of chicks under them, so they're sharing. Now, by far my favorite plant of this year, and probably most years, other than the ground cherry, is this Volunteers cherry tomato, because it is just a snack. So good. It's just a great snack, and it definitely gets shared with the chipmunk, but we have enough so we can share it together. Now, here's another cherry tomato growing out of the driveway, and if it's growing out of the driveway, and as long as it's not getting run over, I let it grow, because that is resilience, and we reward that. Here's another marigold that's growing out of the driveway. We got some tomatillos growing out of the driveway. I don't think those are too young still, and they're not going to make it through. But look at these burgundy. No. What are these called? Are these the burgundy amaranth? Let's take a closer look. So this is a good, the tallest one is definitely almost 6 feet. There's supposed to be grains in this that's edible. But right now it's just beautiful. It makes great, it's great for flower arrangements. For sure. The rutabaga is leafing out and also getting eaten. And the rabbit has left that alone. But still the kohlrabi, you know, it gets eaten, lets it grow, comes back and eats, lets it grow. So it's a relationship. Alright, back to watermelons. Melons. So we had a couple of little rains a while back, and that pepped up the melons, but not much. Not much at all. And still something is coming through and chewing it up. So this is definitely the biggest of the melons that have grown. You can't even tell where the leaves are. So here. But yeah, the ends are getting eaten. So there's really very little chance of these melons becoming anything. See? Nubbed. And also this tomato, I can't remember. I think this is a Paul Robeson that I separated out, and I can't get it to flower or fruit. Well, there's the flowers. Yep, the flowers are coming in. That's good. But they keep eating them. Another thing they keep eating, this is not a good space, is sweet potatoes. I'm not sure what I'm gonna, dig up, if anything, before the frost hits, because I can't get sweet potatoes up. They keep chewing down the leaves. So that whole bed is chewed up. And this whole bed, can't see anything green because they keep getting chewed. Now this is my rice. I thought it'd be starting to produce a stalk by now, but it hasn't. But it's here. It's green. Over here we have more potatoes that are also getting chewed up. Look at this. So that, just needs harvesting. It still had some green to it. It was still several weeks before it's ready to be harvested, but it keeps getting chewed. Here's another bed that I need to harvest. These are all dying back. And also that bed of potatoes is gone, so those are ready. Over here, unfortunately, no eggplants. It's looking like, unless it rallies in September. But we've got flowers, but they just fall off, and no eggplant to be seen. And they're still barely like 18 inches tall. Really haven't grown much. And then we have, at this point, mystery peppers, because I thought the label said these were going to be bell peppers, and clearly not bell peppers. And this is supposed to be, I think, jalapeno. This might still be, but it's looking really sad. These peppers are not the healthiest. But these peppers are doing fantastic. This is the Ancho Poblano, really late in the game. Really tall and lanky, but fruiting. This, oh yeah, I still don't know what this is, but it's got a lot of fruit on it. It looks very good. We're waiting till they change colors before we harvest them. Like, I've started pulling some of these chilly looking things. That's when they color, then I pull them and put them in the freezer till I have enough to process and make either a hot sauce or a powdered peppers. And then this, it's a little crowded here. This turned purpley. Can you see? Yep, purple. So that's neat. Alright. Oof. And the okra is doing fantastic. That's also nearly 6 feet tall. Now here is a pod that I let go one day too many because I wasn't here. So it's still going to be delicious. But it's definitely an inch longer than I would pick it. And then I think I've gotten most of them in my soapy bucket, but over the couple of weeks are these bugs that suck the sap out of the plant and cause curling of the okra. I culled this plant because all I get is curling okra, so figured let the soil put its resources into plants that are still healthy. So, and also ants. I don't see aphids on these plants, but there's still ants. And I know they're sucking the sap out of them. But I get, 2 or 3. I save them, freeze them for a few days before I get enough to eat, to cook up. All right, there's the other okra that's also giving me fruit. And look how much tinier. I mean, this is only 2 feet tall, and it's already giving me, oh, there's a bug. Oops, where did I put it? Maybe I can show you what the bug looks like. Oh, where are you? Well, it's kind of greenish, but it's a bad bug. Bad bug. It makes deformed okra. And this is one that I would probably pick now. That's a good size.
There you are.
Alright, and the Thai basil still doing beautifully here, even though it's drying up too. This sunflower is going to open up soon. The zinnia is on its way out. It's got a lot of powdery mildew because I've been watering from the top. Bad, bad, bad. Alright, I think we're circling towards the end now. This is another couple of patches of potatoes that need to be pulled up. These are at the end of their life. So I have a lot of potato harvesting this week to do. But the pied de resistance is the tomatoes, and I specifically leave the tomatoes at the end of the day because I've heard and I find that there's less water content, therefore you get juicier, sweeter, more flavorful fruit. Ooh, this is a big one. It's a double, or at least looks like a double, but it's a big one. And I think the general rule of thumb is leafy greens, you want to harvest those first thing in the morning because you want that water content. But fruiting plants, so tomatoes, cucumber, pickling cucumber, melons, you want those at the end of the day so that you have better flavor. You can see the chicken coop in the back there. It's coming along. Still later than I'd like, but it is what it is. But that is the garden tour for August. It'll be a lot different in the next couple of weeks. At least that's the plan. We'll see. School's starting up soon, so we might have not that much time. But of course my battery's running out, so this is the end for today. I'll be bringing you the videos on what I'll be doing next, the potato harvest, cleaning up the beds, and whatnot. Oh, planting out the fall garden. So I'll talk to you all soon. Bye!
Well, I did it right.
Oh, it's opening! It's opening!
Open